We're almost to the end of our debunk series on Caleb and Sophia videos. If you guys want to see the rest of the episodes, you can check out the playlist I have on my channel. These are the very last two to date, but depending on when you guys watch this video, there might be a newer release. So be sure to check the playlist and see if I've debunked another yet. Anyways, today we're going to be hitting two videos, lessons 31 and 32. Love Jehovah's House and Be Good in the Ministry, respectively. And by the way, if you want to support my work, you can check out my Teespring store, which is in the card in the corner, or you can support me on Patreon, which is also in the card. You can find both links in the description too. Okay, let's get into the Caleb and Sophia videos. Now, before we get into the clip, let me provide a little context. Jehovah's Witnesses have certain responsibilities. Every Jehovah's Witness does. First, you're expected to go in service, as they call it, at least once a week. That's door knocking. This isn't really a quote-unquote requirement exactly. They won't disfellowship you if you don't, but it's a cultural requirement. At the very least, people will start asking questions if they don't see you there every Saturday morning, 9 a.m. sharp, for at least a few hours. Some of them choose to go in service on Sunday before or after the meeting, depending on what time the meeting happens for their congregation. But either way, when they show up on Saturday at 9 a.m., the service overseer will talk to them for a couple of minutes, read the daily text or something, which is like a paragraph-long breakdown of some Bible verse and how it applies to us. The bad witnesses will start counting their time from the moment they walk out their door in the morning to the moment they walk back in their door. The good witnesses won't start counting time until they go to the area where they'll be door knocking. And the exhausted witnesses, the pioneers, the ones who get 20 to 30 hours of service per week, plus a full-time job, plus all the meetings and studying and everything they have to do, will find every opportunity they can to count time. I hear when you get into that kind of Jehovah's Witness culture, they start counting time when they walk out the door in the morning too. One more thing I wanted to talk about regarding door knocking. Somebody asked me recently how handicapped people do it, and here's the answer. They'll preach in other ways. It's pretty common for handicapped people to do social media witnessing, where they get on Twitter or Facebook or something and they find some random group of people and start spreading Jehovah's message. For those who aren't very social media savvy, they'll pick up a phone book and call every number on the list. They'll give them their presentation about Jesus, or they'll do what's called letter writing, where they write letters and mail them to every house in the phone book. That's how handicapped people do it. But if you don't get around 10 hours per month, then you're considered inactive, which means people start treating you a little differently. You aren't kicked out, they're just super cautious. Your friends start trying to encourage you to go back in service and all that. They gauge where you stand, if you still believe it or not. So when I was younger, usually we do 9 to 12 on Saturday and then 12:30 to 2:30 on Sunday, right after the meeting. So I'd get like 5 hours a week or 20 hours a month. There was a time when I was auxiliary pioneering, getting 50 hours a month. It was intense. But now you guys know what kind of Jehovah's Witness I was. Service time is really used to gauge how spiritual somebody is. I'll tell you one thing I really miss about it though. I loved going to Tim Hortons or Dunkin' Donuts afterward for coffee and donuts with the brothers. That was a good time. We'd sit and talk. Some of them are genuinely good people, and I'm seriously disappointed that I lost some of them. But this is a one-way street. Maybe I'll see them on the outside one day. But we'll get back into door knocking in a minute. I just wanted to provide some context for the video we're about to watch. Service is one of those requirements. Another requirement is cleaning the Kingdom Hall. They expect you to be there every week when it's time to clean. They'll schedule it. You show up and you clean the bathrooms and the kitchen and the library and the stage and everything, top to bottom. Wash the windows, the baseboards, all of it. It's just another one of those things you have to do as a witness. I remember my family would show up about once a month, which was better than nothing. Okay, now that we got some context, let's watch the video.
Oh, Caleb, do you remember where Samuel served?
The tabernacle?
Good. That was like his house, but it was also Jehovah's house. How do you think he treated it?
Oh, he kept it clean.
That's right. The Kingdom Hall is like Jehovah's house too. How should we treat it?
Oh.
Okay, this just seems to be about keeping the Kingdom Hall clean. Nothing really sticks out too much yet. Let's finish it up and see what happens next.
Nice job, Caleb. When we keep the Kingdom Hall clean, we show Jehovah that we love him.
Pretty straightforward stuff. Look, I have nothing against keeping things clean. My real issue is how overworked these people are. It contributes to a culture of trudging along until Armageddon comes. Just keep pushing through, keep working, keep going to meetings, keep knocking on doors, keep studying. Do what you have to do until it's over. This adds to that. And what reason do they give? The same reason they give for everything.
When we keep the Kingdom Hall clean, we show Jehovah that we love him.
It's a theme through all of these Caleb and Sophia videos, if you notice. That's always the reason. It makes Jehovah happy. Why shouldn't you steal? Why should you obey your parents? Why should you be nice? Why should you be humble? Why should you do anything at all to make Jehovah happy? To show him that we love him. I'm sorry, I just don't believe that I should have to clean somebody's house or talk about them constantly to show them that I love them. That's called codependence and obsession, and that's an ideal situation in a cult. That's what they want. It's even in Stephen Hassan's bite model. Okay, let's move on to the next Caleb and Sophia video. It's called Be Good in the Ministry, Lesson 32.
So you are excited to go out in service. Do you think you are ready? Not so fast. Before you go in the ministry, there's a few things we need to go over. First, we must learn the 3 P's.
The 3 P's?
Yes, preparation, personal appearance, and proper behavior.
The 3 P's. There's a joke in here somewhere. If you come up with a good one, then put it in the comments and I'll pin it. Anyways, like I said about service before, they're pretty serious about it. And the worst part to me is that they try to get kids to do as much as possible. The younger, the better. It's part of the indoctrination. I passed out my first tract when I was 2 years old. Couldn't even talk yet. Just handed it over to the person pretty much. Start them young and it'll be with them for life. I mean, as it stands, my personality has been permanently formed out by Jehovah's Witnesses. There's no fixing that, really. I never had a chance to develop my own authentic personality because I grew up in it. I just had to throw off all the parts of my personality that were negative, like a propensity to be superstitious, for example, and I embraced the good parts of the personality they gave me, like genuineness and altruism. Anyways, let's continue with the video.
First, preparation. Preparation is the first pillar of success in the ministry. Every job requires the proper tools. When it comes to tools for preaching, the variety might seem intimidating, but never fear. We have the teaching toolbox. Finding the right tools is easier than ever. Once you have your tools, make sure and practice your presentation before you leave the house. Wouldn't want to be preparing on the doorstep.
Preparation. Another one of these things that takes up time. Another thing that adds to the burden. Earlier I talked about all the reading and studying and everything they have to do. They don't just have to underline the answers to the questions in those and in the Jehovah's Witness books they're studying. They don't just have to show up to all the meetings and Kingdom Hall cleanings and go door knocking and everything else. They also have to prepare for the door knocking every week. When I was in it, they had something called the Kingdom Ministry, and it was basically magazine shaped, but it only had like 4 to 6 pages total. I don't think they were even stapled together, like a flyer. And in the Kingdom Ministry, they'd have example presentations that would help you prepare. They'd be geared specifically toward the magazines Jehovah's Witnesses had released for that month. But it was actually really important that you learn how to improvise. In fact, that's where I learned most of my public speaking skills. They also had a red book that taught you how to do public speaking at the time. It was really useful, and I went through that thing backward and forward. It was one of the skills I learned from Jehovah's Witnesses that I really value today. Although from my understanding, they actually stopped teaching regular people about that entirely. Now it's a specialized school. Public speaking information isn't as widespread as it used to be with Jehovah's Witnesses. Maybe they got a little nervous seeing my YouTube channel. Okay, let's continue.
Now that you are well prepared, it's time to talk about personal appearance. How we look is very important because we represent Jehovah. Getting ready for the ministry, we need to make sure our appearance is saying the right things. Jehovah wants your appearance to be well-arranged and modest. What that means is that we look and smell clean. Our clothes fit well, but not too well.
Okay, I just have to stop it here for a second. The people who were never Jehovah's Witnesses might not really know why that bit was significant, so let me explain. The Watchtower Society is the printing company for Jehovah's Witnesses. It's basically the organization that owns the religion, and it's run by governing body members who call all the shots. They're kind of like celebrities in Jehovah's Witness circles. One of the governing body members, Toni Morris, famously went on tour around the world talking about how tight pants are designed by gay people in the fashion industry because they like looking at dudes in tight pants, so if they popularize tight pants, then they'll get to look at dudes in tight pants all the time. It's a conspiracy theory. It's insane. So after going around the world talking about this, they put out this video where they say,
"Our clothes fit well, but not too well."
Why didn't they talk about how clothes should fit well and not be too baggy? Because Toni Morris is on a conspiracy theory kick about the gay agenda.
But like I've been telling others, and this is a fact, the homosexuals that are designing these clothes, they like you in tight pants. That's who likes it, not spiritual people. So it's just something to consider with dress and grooming. Is it appropriate? Is it modest? Does it display soundness of mind? If not, do something about it. If you're a spiritual family.
That's why. So, if you worry about the Watchtower Society and their stranglehold on Jehovah's Witnesses, I encourage everybody watching this to wear tight pants. Wear them as tight as you can. Fight the Watchtower Society. Let's continue.
But not too well. Our hair is done, and we aren't drawing too much attention to ourselves. Looking sharp, my son. Now it's time to talk about proper behavior. Our conduct while in the ministry is another way we can bring praise to Jehovah. So make sure you are on your best behavior. Remember, when we go door to door, people see us, and good behavior gives a good witness. We would never want to give anyone a reason to find fault with our ministry.
Can I go out in service now?
Yes, looks like you are ready. It's time to put the 3 P's to the test.
Hi, my name's Caleb. What's your name?
Hi, Caleb. My name is...
And that's where it ends. It's kind of messed up to see the way they're conditioning and training kids to work for them. And if you notice right at the end there, Caleb knocked on the door and somebody answered. But Telltale, how'd they get the camera inside the house as he knocked, I hear you asking? It looks like it was staged. Well, person watching the video, I'll tell you how they did that. It is staged. For most of you who know my channel, you'll recognize the person who answered the door is the mother. That's another subtle message. You should be training and practicing with your kids. My mom did it all the time, practiced with us. We had to because we were about to talk to complete strangers without a script or anything in front of us. We had to be able to improvise. Like I said, there were some useful skills I picked up from them. I'm doing my best to market those skills. I thought to myself, would I rather have not gone through what I went through, just grew up with a normal childhood and not gotten into YouTube? Or would I rather have gone through all that pain and suffering and lost my mother and everything else, but still get to do YouTube and help people find their way out of oppressive religions? In the end, I really think it's for the best that I went through what I did. That goes for everybody here. I don't know what each individual person's gone through, but I imagine lots of you have similar stories to me. As bad as it was, as scarred as it left us, we're still standing. We're still here. We're unbreakable, and we can use our experiences to help others. So in my eyes, it was worth it. For me. Okay, that's all I've got for you. Don't forget to check out my Patreon and my t-shirts and bumper stickers at my store on Teespring. The last few videos I released have been demonetized. YouTube won't tell me why. They just turn it off and that's the end of it. Extremely frustrating. But like I said, if you like what I do and you want to continue to see me do it, you can support me on Patreon or Teespring. Also check out my Facebook, where I upload videos early. And check out my podcast where I talk about all kinds of interesting stuff. Games, politics, everything. Links are all in the description as always. Okay, thanks for watching, guys.